Email Manager. I'm just waiting for a couple more people to log on, so we'll just, if we can, just wait a moment, because I can see there's people just logging on. So this is what we're going to cover today. First of all, just a quick introduction. I'm James, and I am the Training Installations Manager here at Salon IQ. So basically what we're going to cover today: what is Email Manager? How can I create an email blast? What are the benefits of using Email Manager? How can it help my business? And then we'll go through some editing of the templates. So if we can just move on. So my idea of Email Manager is a customizable email template which can be sent direct to clients, and it works with client selection. So for those of you that watched last week's webinar on client selections, you'll be aware of what client selections are, but we'll touch again on that quickly. But basically what it allows you to do is to search for clients with email details. It allows you to create customized direct to client marketing. You can track email performance, so in terms of track delivery, open rates, click rates, bounce percentages. So all of these statistics are available to you on Email Manager. What it allows you to do is engage with clients with newsletters or competitions, promotions. Statistically, what we've found is that a lot of salons tend to do email blasts, maybe quarterly newsletters or opening times at Christmas time, that type of thing. Transparency is important to us here at Salon IQ, so we just want to be completely open. The Email Manager is a paid-for service. It is a third-party company. So Email Manager is £5 per email blast. So regardless of whether that's one email or 1,000 emails, the email blast will cost £5 plus an additional 0.09 pence per email. So just to give you kind of some sort of scale, an email blast to 2,000 people is going to cost you around £23. Now, it is one of the better cost-effective ways to reach out to your clients. Compared to SMS marketing, this is much better. But again, you've got to make sure that the information is on the client cards. So as we mentioned last week, it's imperative really that if you're going to focus on email blasts, you've got to ask the question, can I have your email address when you're in front of a client? The other benefit is there's no character limits, unlike SMS marketing. So 149 characters is going to cost you one text message. If you're going to send out a larger, more detailed text message, your costs are going to start rising quite quickly. The benefit of the email is that there's no character limits. So again, going back to the whole cost effective. And then you can optimize your content on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram links at the bottom of the email, so you can really customize it. So let's just move on to the next slide before we actually go through how to create an email blast. So in my opinion, the benefits of email marketing are that it's targeted. So again, you can target exactly who you're sending these emails to, which in turn increases your brand awareness. So with sending out these email marketing, the clients, the recipients are going to easily find out more information about your salon, especially when there's links on Facebook, Instagram, etc., at the bottom of these emails. So it really does increase your brand awareness. It's easily shareable. We know how easily clients find forwarding emails or text messages, so it really is one of the easiest platforms of media to share. It's measurable, so going back to when I mentioned about the statistics, we can log on to Email Manager and we can easily find out the amount of emails that have been opened, how many emails have been read, how many emails have bounced back even, so it's all there for us to measure against. And then finally, just to really drill home just how cost effective email manager is. So if we just now go back to Salon IQ, here we are. For those of you that logged in last week will remember how easy it is to get onto your client selection. So into your main menu, into communications, and then client selections. So for this particular example, we're just going to focus on new blank. Any people that want us to email over the link to last week's webinar, if you just pop that into the chat box, I can make sure that you get all the relevant video feeds sent through. So I'm just going to bring my keyboard over. So the example I'm going to give you today is that we're going to have a spring colour sale. So the selection name really is for you to just type in to remind yourself at a later point when you're looking for the clients, and the selection name will remind you exactly what client base you're looking for. So if I just type in spring colour sale. Not looking for SMS this week, we're actually focusing on email, so I'm just going to put the point into the email box, and I am now going to refine my search. So I'm going to bring over salons, and just going to focus on our target audience, which is going to be hoopers this week. Now, I could refine that even more if I wanted to bring in some sort of team member criteria, but I'm going to keep this quite generic. I want it to be sent to all clients within the Hoopers salon that have an email address. So I know that that's going to be quite a high figure. This will take a moment. So just under 3,500. So what I'm now going to do is I'm happy with that number. I'm going to click on Save Selection. And then I'm going to click on Email Blast, which will then save all of that search criteria and take me to the third-party app, which is the Email Manager. There is a chat feature. We're going to slightly change things this week because the Q&A didn't really work that well because I couldn't see all the questions. So if you've got any questions, upload them into the questions or chat box. And what I'll do, just as we did last week, is we'll put all the answers, all the questions on Facebook. That, I think, probably worked better. So here we are. We're ready to go to Email Manager now. So I'm just going to click on OK. And there we go. It will transport us to Salon IQ Email Manager. So we're going to go through campaigns and insights in a little bit more detail towards the end of this webinar. All we do here is to create a brand new email blast. We're just going to click on this Create a New Campaign button, top right hand corner. And this is basically name the campaign. So I'm going to keep it as Spring Colour Sale. I preloaded this earlier on, so I'll be as quick as I can. So basically the name of this campaign is just going to show you in your reports when you actually do send out an email blast. It's all managed, so you'll be able to see all the email blasts you've sent out. So you'll be able to identify quickly Spring Colour Sale, and you can then search against that for your information in terms of open rates, etc., etc. And then who's it from? I always recommend putting in a business email address rather than an individual email address. We can change a reply to email address by clicking on these options here, but there is going to be a supporting document that I'm going to create with this that I can send out. So it will go into more detail about each of these tabs, but my personal recommendation to you would be to just keep it from an email address from your business rather than a personal email address. And then we just click on Next. And to start with, we're going to select the featured, which will give you about 40 different templates to choose from. Now, I'll be honest, the first time that you choose to create your email blast, it is going to take you slightly longer to create a new template because, unfortunately, for reasons unknown to me, Email Manager doesn't actually give you a blank email template to work from. You actually do have to edit and customize one of these templates. It is a bit of a bugbear, I do apologise, but actually it does pay dividends because it does allow you to play around with the system, get used to creating your own email blast. So I'm just going to customise this Fashion Factory 40% off sale. So I'll just let that load. It will take a moment to load, so there we go, it's loading now. Here we are. Gives you a bit of a chance to slurp your tea. Shouldn't be too much longer now. Probably a good opportunity for me just to advertise next week's webinar. We're going to go through Recommend a Friend next week. I know that that's probably one of the biggest topics that we have here in the office in terms of how to set it up. So we'll release that link shortly after today's webinar. For those of you that don't quite understand or have got any questions on Recommend a Friend, or GAS as it's better known as, I'd recommend linking into that webinar next week, next Monday at 9:30. So here we are, we've got the webinar, the email template up now. This is the bugbear now. So everything that you see on screen is completely customizable. What it does need though is for you to go through all of the sections that you don't want and then basically delete or edit. So as you can see here, I've just clicked on the sale, and if I didn't want any text there, I literally have to manually delete it. So I'm just going to delete all of the text I don't want. And then you can see this block here, this big black line here. I have to delete that too because I don't want that part of my email blast. So this is the thing that takes the most amount of time. The first time that you're creating your first email blast is having to delete all of these icons, words, descriptions, images that you don't want. It is going to take you slightly longer than it would do normally, but there is no getting around it, unfortunately. So as you can see, image by image, I'm getting there now. Not quite losing the will to live yet, but here we are. Probably easier if you want us to give you a hand creating your first template as well. Just book it in, just give me a call. Probably need a good hour to go through your first template. I'm more than happy to do that. And then delete block, yes. So here we are, we're kind of getting there now. I'm just going to upload a couple of images that I've already preloaded onto my computer. So drag your logo here. I'm just going to double click on that and it will bring me up to the icons or the saved images that I've already saved. So I'm just going to pop in a Salon IQ logo at the top. Really important that you put in some sort of branding as a header and Salon information as a footer at the bottom. So I'm hoping that you'd all have some sort of marketing saved on your computer already. So here we are. I'm just going to delete this image of this person here. Yes. So you've got a number of icons on the left hand side. It's all drag and drop technology. So you just drag the image icon to the place on the email that you want to upload an image. So I'm happy to put it there. And then once I am happy of the location of the image, I can go back to the choose file. And let's bring up this picture of this lady's hair. There we go. Easy to load up. I quite like this number 1, but I'm not quite sure of the text, so I'm just going to edit that myself. So as an example, I think it was a spring colour sale that we're going for. So this lady's obviously got some sort of ombre going on. So you can just see here that I'm completely customising the text. Now, I'm hoping that you'll all be a little bit more inventive than I am. In fact, I probably know a lot of you are more inventive, but I'm just going to type in just to show you how simple it is to customise. You've also got the Shop Now tabs here, but I can remove the Shop Now text. So by clicking on the button icon here, I could easily put in our online booking link, you see. So this is where we can start bringing in some of the Salon IQ technology. So what I'd probably do, rather than put it on as online booking, I would keep that tab as book online. Now, so we're happy with that. I didn't press save, so we can just create that link again. So I'm just going to click on the button, the joys of working with technology live. So try it again, book online. We can change the size of the text. You'd obviously put the button link in here now, so we could put the online booking link, or you could press Facebook and link it direct to your Facebook page. So all the links are available, and then done editing, and it should, fingers crossed. No, it hasn't. Okay, well, normally it does, so I'm just thinking that there's probably some sort of gremlin in the system today. I'm just going to delete this woman here, again, just to show you how easy it is to upload your own images from your computer. So I'm just going to drag the image box over to where I want to drop the image. Choose my file. This time we're going to go for this lady. I don't think there's any limits in terms of how many images you can upload or file sizes. So we're starting to get a gist of what we're doing here. We're just deleting all of the information, all of the images and text that we don't want, and we're replacing it with our own images. So again, just going to bring in that image here. I didn't upload too many images. And that should load as well. So you've got various tabs here. So rather than Shop Now, we could put Book Online, View Facebook. You could even put a map link on there. And then we're just going to continue to delete what we don't want on the information. So you've also got your Book Online tab at the bottom. Again, just customise it. So I'm thinking you've probably got all the gist. If you've got any questions, use the questions tab now. I'm aware that this is been quite quick in terms of how to edit the email blast, but I think it's pretty straightforward. Any issues, just give me a call. It's then just a case of going to the preview tab at the top right hand side. You can add your pre-header text if you want to. Normally the pre-header text would be the topic of the email. However, I'm just going to continue to preview. And what you'll see here, top left-hand corner, who's it from? It's from our business email address, and the subject line, spring colour sale. On the left-hand side, it will show you what the email will look like in an email browser on your computer. And it also shows you on the right-hand side what the email will look like on a mobile device. So you can see both platforms, how the email is going to look. before you send it out. And then it's just a case of defining the recipients. You could also send yourself a test email at this point, but if we just go into define recipients, now partly because this is on our demo system, it hasn't saved my topic, which was a spring colour sale. So what I need you all to do is just to use your imagination and imagine that this one here that I'm going to tick here actually says spring colour sale rather than the actual topic that it is. Again, one of the restrictions of not using our live system. So I'm happy to use this clients list here, and I'm just going to scroll to the very bottom and press next. So you'd select the name search that you created in client selections and say, here we are. We can see the name of the campaign, the subject, who's it from. It gives us another option to change the template or view a preview again before we actually send it out. And then the total unique recipients. Well, our search was higher than that, and then finally we just got to go into scheduled delivery, which is really the last section for this email blast. So we can either send it now or we can schedule a specific time into the future. So again, if you wanted to just kind of create an email blast into the future, and the system would read, would recognise when you wanted that email to be sent out. So you'd select a time and date into the future, and the email will be then sent out at that time. And then it's just a case of pay for this campaign. And then it's just a case of looking at the summary. So delivery fee, $3.24. Total recipients gives you a total cost of £12.02, which I think you'll all agree for being sent out to 1,400 people is very cost effective. And then it's just a case of putting in your direct debit details and paying for it. So just quickly, what I wanted to do is just to show you some of our examples here. So as you can see, looking through all these various examples here, you see a common trend. We keep our email blasts very simple, so the header at the top is always the same. We're going to just change the information on the email blast rather than the changing the look of the email blast every one that we send out. So that would be my main tip to you, would be to keep your email template simple, and so then it's just the editorial that you're changing rather than the header and so on. So if we just have a look at our latest email blast, which looks to be from a Valentine offer, I'll just let this load up. I've got some other examples as well, so if you want us to send you over some examples just to kind of give you an idea of content, just put in a request on the chat feature or email me, james@saloniq.com, and I can certainly get some examples sent over to you. So once you've played around with the email template, you can see it's pretty straightforward to set up. You just need a little bit more patience and a bit more time than I have for this webinar today. So we've got all of our information, we've got the promotions, and then we've got our links at the bottom of the website. So it's all pretty straightforward. Let's just go back to another example. So I'm just going to go back. And the good thing is, once you've created one email template, it will save them all. So you can just edit them whenever you want to. So there's my example there. But if we go down, we can see that there's various options, promotions. One I did look at when I was practicing was just down here, where we're reintroducing a team member that had been away. So we get re-engaging with clients to communicate that a particular stylist has come back, or you could even create a newsletter or competition. And then lastly, I'm just going to show you about the statistics, which is based on insights. So here it summarises all of the information, delivery rates, unsubscribe rates, your bounce rates, and it shows you, it breaks it down per email blast. So the last email blast that we sent out was the Valentine's example that we've just looked at. So we can see 573 of those were delivered, 29% open rate, 1% click rate. It actually defines what each of these actually means from a statistical standpoint as well. But it's all transparent, so you know exactly who's opened, who's unsubscribed. So that's useful. So if we just go back to this section here, go back to my... So a lot of you may not actually want to use Email Manager. You may already use alternatives such as MailChimp or Salon Guru, and if that was the case, you would just basically use Salon IQ to create your client selections. So again, we've just kept it as our salon here, our recipients, and you will want to export that client information. So once you press save, you can then click on view download. It will then load up all of the client information, and you can export that information. And so then you can just click on export, and you can choose a file, and then you can export that information and send it over to either MailChimp or Salon Guru. It's a Q&A. I'm going to leave the webinar open now for the next 10-15 minutes, just to kind of give you a chance to type in some questions. Please do any questions, just type into the chat or questions box. I won't answer them straight away because that's what kind of tripped us up last time. So all questions and answers will be put onto Facebook this afternoon. It's a great way to learn. Give me your feedback on the webinar and make a date in your diary for next Monday, which is the recommended brand. Up until then, any questions, give us a call, 01892 280 123, or get your emails over to me directly at james@saloniq.com. I'm going to pause it there, get your questions through, and hopefully I'll see a lot of you next week. Many thanks. Bye.